has two ends and one middle. Fair? Fair. Okay, this isn't television. I can hear you guys. Like I said, two ends and one. Sorry, hang on. That's strange. 1, 2, 3 ends. That's weird. It's just 3 ends and. Okay. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4 ends and one middle, it's an easy fix. Take 2 of the ends, move them down to the other side. 2 ends on both sides. That's 2 pieces of rope. And you guys act like you see that stuff all the time. So by this point, the crowd's starting to gather. People do ask me, they're like, yeah, but that magic stuff, is it an optical illusion? It's not, it just looks like one. That's bleep. And sleep. All right. That's the stupidest thing I'll say on morning, I promise. It's not really. 2 separate ropes, 2 separate loops like this. Watch. Get one of them to just kind of melt into the other. Look at that. Happened fast. That was too fast. We'll do it just one more time. Hang on, a little bit faster. So at this point now, the crowd is fully gathered. I do one final piece of magic before I tell the story. I tell them about what it's like growing up in Minnesota. It's so cold. So cold you can actually freeze your ends off. You do it right, you can take the ends on the rope, you can set them on the rope like so. It almost looks like it's a part of the rope. You see, it's that optical illusion we were talking about earlier. Watch. To share a lesson. That catches your eye. So now you guys are listening. And then I'm able to tell you a story about the beginning of life. Now listen, everyone in here has heard some iteration of this story, because it's the story of Adam and Eve, the beginning of the world. But maybe this will make you think about it differently. You see, we're going to represent this end of the rope, us, you and me, human race. And this end of the rope represents God. Now here's the thing. The Bible talks about, in the beginning, there was nothing separating us from God. We were one with Him. And Satan hated that. He tempted both Adam and Eve to do the one thing that God said not to do, eat from the tree in the middle of the garden. And both Adam and Eve ate from that tree, separating them from God. They were no longer one with Him. There was now this sin, this void in between them. And of course, we all know that that's not where the story ends. God in His infinite love and mercy, He sent His one only Son, Jesus, to die on the cross, and that sacrifice, because Jesus was the only perfect guy to ever walk the earth, He made the perfect sacrifice that brought us back together with Him. But check it out, there's still this thing in between us, blocking us from God, that sin in our life. Because the Bible, of course, says in order to get into heaven, you have to be perfect. No sin. You have to be perfect, and you and I are not. Yeah, I didn't do that on purpose, but I'm keeping it. That was good. That was good. That just worked. Okay, write that down for next service. Man, no, that's, so the thing is, listen, so again, my magic buddy asked me, give me the Jesus thing. He said, you Christians, you got that, which is a great way to start a sentence. He says, you Christians, you got that weird loophole where you can live a terrible life, but if you pray a prayer and ask Jesus to forgive your sins, He will. He's not wrong, right? But what he calls a loophole, I call God's infinite grace.